Ephesians 2.
Ephesians chapter 2, we'll start off with verse 19.
There's another Bible right here. No, Ephesians what? 6?
Ephesians chapter 2. Start off with 19.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19, it says, "And to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge, that you may be filled with the fullness of God. Now, unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all
that
we can ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us."
2:19.
3:19.
Oh, what is it? 3:19.
3:19.
He said 2, I'm all like,
Yeah.
I thought
I
she
was,
said
I was
this
just
one.
checking if you guys are paying attention.
This is only a test.
And everything's like this.
Now I know who wasn't paying attention, see?
Like Robbie.
Hey.
I catch Robbie.
Here's what I think is
With his
very
Bible
interesting.
down. I'm reading.
To know the love of Christ.
Yes, to know the love of Christ.
Now, to know the love of Christ, okay, most of the time when we look at Christ, we think that it's Jesus' last name, okay? But the love of Christ is the Spirit of God, okay? To know
Yes.
the love of Christ is the Christos, is the anointing of God. It's the presence of God. It's to know the love and the presence of God. Okay, so to have a relationship with God is like this. Number one is Jesus already went to the cross, sat down at the right hand of God, and said it was finished. Okay?
Yes.
Jesus is no longer walking around here on earth in a physical manifestation. Okay?
Yes.
The manifestation of God is by the Spirit of God. Okay? The Spirit of God is Christ. Okay, so to understand the love of Christ is to understand the Spirit of God. Does this make sense to us?
Yes.
Okay, because sometimes we try to get to God in the flesh, and God already sent His Spirit to us.
Yes.
Okay, to have a relationship with His Spirit. Okay, to know the love of Christ. Okay, and so the more we get closer to the presence of God, the more we begin to love the presence of God, the more we begin to get sensitive to the Spirit of God. And what does it say? He leads us, He guides us, He directs us by His Spirit. Okay? And so we have to be sensitive to God. Okay? We might be making a decision without even consulting God. And all of a sudden, the Spirit of God gives us an unction. It begins to lead us. It begins to tug on us and pull us and say, you're doing the wrong thing. You're going to pay for this. You're making a mistake. If we don't listen to the unction of God, we'll end up making a mistake. And what does that mean? The word is literally means sin. It literally means just missing the mark. If God is leading us besides the still waters, if God is leading us and we're leaning on our own understanding, what ends up happening if we lean like a tower or an airplane, you could just be off just a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit, but in the end, you're going to be way off. Hello? So this is it's important for us to be sensitive to which way God is leading us and directing us. This is how we're going to grow in the knowledge of Him, okay? That we become sensitive to His voice. Here's what I've always said. What's in the middle of heart?
Ear.
Ear, okay? How do we hear from God? Our heart. The heart is desperately wicked above all things, and who can know it? Okay, so our heart has to be transformed. Okay, we see